Have you ever wondered why we say I eat and not I eats? Well, that's because of something called the present tense. But don't worry, we're not getting into the nitty-gritty of grammar just yet. Instead, let's think of the present tense like a snapshot of the here and now. Imagine you're a cartoon character in a comic strip. Each panel captures a moment in time, right? Well, when we use the present tense, we're doing the same thing with language. We're capturing a moment, a habit, a routine, or a fact, and putting it into words. Let's take our cartoon character, for example. If he loves to eat pizza, we'd say, he eats pizza. That's present tense. We're talking about his love for pizza as a regular occurrence, something that happens often in the present. It's like a snapshot of his life in words. Now, what if our character is a dog who barks at the mailman every single day? We'd say, the dog barks at the mailman. Again, that's present tense. We're talking about a routine, something that happens regularly. Present tense isn't just about routines and habits, though. It's also about facts and general truths. For example, we say the sun rises in the east. That's a fact, and we use the present tense to express it. So, in a nutshell, the present tense is all about the here and now. It's about what's happening in the present moment, what happens regularly, and what's generally true. It's like taking a snapshot of life and putting it into words. And the best part, we all use present tense all the time, often without even realizing it. Every time we talk about our routines, our habits, or facts about the world, we're using present tense. So the next time you talk about something you do regularly or a fact, remember, you're using the present tense. Isn't that fascinating? Now that we know what present tense is, let's dive deeper into one of its most common types, the present simple tense. Think of the present simple tense as a movie director. It's the master of setting the scene and introducing the characters. It's used to talk about routines, general facts, and statements of truth. It's the go-to tense when you want to say something that generally, usually, or always happens. So how does it work? Let's say we have a cartoon character named Bob. Bob loves to read. If we want to talk about this love of reading, we could say, Bob reads books. Reads is the present simple form of the verb read. It's as simple as adding an S to the base form of the verb. But remember, this rule only applies when the subject is he, she, or it. Now let's imagine another scenario. Our friend Bob has a cat named Whiskers. Whiskers is a bit of a lazy cat and loves to sleep. We could say, Whiskers sleeps all day. Again, we've added an S to the base verb sleep. But what about the exceptions? English wouldn't be English without a few curveballs, right? For verbs that end in Y, like study, we don't just add an S. Instead, we replace the Y with I's. So, if Bob is a diligent student, we could say Bob studies every night. And then there are the irregular verbs. These are the mavericks that don't follow the regular rules. Have becomes has, go becomes goes, and so on. So if Bob has a pet fish, we would say Bob has a goldfish. Also, remember that present simple tense is not used to talk about actions happening right now. That's the job of the present continuous tense, which we'll explore in our next scene. And that, my friends, is how you use the present simple tense. Pretty simple, right? Ever wondered how to talk about something that's happening right now? Welcome to the world of present continuous tense. This is the tense we use when we want to describe an action that is ongoing, happening at this very moment. Imagine two cartoon characters. One is a lively dog named Rover, and the other is a playful cat named Whiskers. Rover is chasing Whiskers around a tree. To describe this scene, we would say, Rover is chasing Whiskers. This is a classic example of the present continuous tense. The action, chasing, is happening right now. Now let's talk about the structure of this tense. It's pretty simple. You start with the subject, add is, am, or are, followed by a verb ending in ing. So, Rover is chasing Whiskers, or I am watching Rover and Whiskers. But wait, there's more complexity to it. There are some exceptions to remember. Some verbs like know, want, need, and like are not typically used in the present continuous tense. Instead, we use the simple present tense. So, we would say, I know Rover is a dog, not I am knowing Rover is a dog. And then, there are spelling rules. When a verb ends in a consonant followed by E, we drop the E and add ing, so come becomes coming. But with a verb like run, which ends in a single vowel followed by a consonant, we double the final consonant before adding ing. So run becomes running. That's the present continuous tense for you. It's all about painting a vivid picture of what's happening right now. Whether you're talking about Rover chasing Whiskers, the sun setting, or the rain falling, you'll find this tense incredibly useful. So next time something is happening right now, you know to use the present continuous tense. What about something that started in the past and is still happening? That's where the present perfect tense comes in. Now imagine our trusty cartoon character. Let's call him Bob. Bob has been painting a mural on a wall. He started this morning, and guess what? He's still at it, adding colors and life to that wall. In this scenario, we'd say, Bob has been painting a mural. This, my friends, is a classic example of the present perfect tense. But wait, there's more to it. The present perfect tense isn't just about things that are still happening. It's also about actions that happened at an unspecified time before now. Consider our friend Lucy, who's traveled all over the world. We don't know exactly when, but at some point in the past, Lucy visited these places. So we'd say, Lucy has traveled to many countries. Now, let's dive into the rules. The present perfect tense is formed with the present tense of have, has or have, plus the past participle of the verb. For regular verbs, the past participle ends in ed, like talked or walked. But hold on, English isn't always that straightforward. There are plenty of irregular verbs where the past participle doesn't end in ed, like seen, gone, or drunk. It's a bit of a wild ride, but don't worry. With practice, it gets easier. Here's a little exception to keep in mind. We usually use the present perfect tense with words like ever, never, already, yet, and just. For example, we'd say I've just finished my dinner, or she's never seen a giraffe. Remember, the present perfect tense is a bridge connecting the past and the present. It's about actions that have an impact on the present moment, whether they're still happening like Bob's painting, or they occurred at an unspecified time in the past like Lucy's travels. And that's how you use the present perfect tense to talk about actions that started in the past and continue in the present. We've covered a lot of ground today, haven't we? Let's quickly recap what we've learned. In our journey through the realm of present tenses, we first encountered the present simple tense. It's the unassuming hero of our story, used for habitual actions, general truths, and states that are always true. Just like our everyday cartoon character Bob, who always eats cereal for breakfast. It's as simple as saying Bob eats cereal. Next, we met the present continuous tense. This tense is all about actions happening right now or around now, and it's often used to describe ongoing actions. Think of our cartoon character Sally, who is currently painting a mural. In this case, we would say, Sally is painting a mural. Then, we explored the fascinating world of the present perfect tense. This tense connects the past and the present in an interesting way. It's about actions that happened at an unspecified time before now, or actions that began in the past and continue to the present. For instance, our cartoon character Tim, who has read many books this year, we'd express this by saying Tim has read many books. We've used these cartoon scenarios to illustrate how these tenses work in everyday situations. It's important to remember that these aren't rigid rules, but rather guides to help you navigate the English language. Each tense has its own quirks and exceptions, which you'll get the hang of with practice. The beauty of the present tense is in its versatility. It's like a Swiss Army knife, always ready to help you express your thoughts. Whether you're talking about your daily routine, describing what you're doing at this moment, or connecting past actions with your present situation. And there you have it, the mysteries of the present tense, unraveled. Remember, practice makes perfect, so keep practicing these tenses in your everyday conversations. Until next time, keep learning.